administration has approved more oil and gas drilling in its first year than the Trump administration did. In its first year, it set a record for the largest offshore lease sale last year in the Gulf of Mexico and is now preparing several other major lease sales. Can you explain why this administration hasn't done more to curb fossil fuel production on public lands and waters? There are allies in the environmental community who say, look, there are other levers you could pull to accomplish more of this.
Well, I would first say we have an entirely different policy from the Trump administration on addressing the crisis, the climate crisis, which I'm not even sure that they acknowledged, certainly not in the same way that President Biden and our entire team has. And we've taken a range of steps, including in advocating for a historic investment in addressing the climate crisis that we are still working to move forward in Congress, but we've taken a range of additional steps beyond that. As you know, Sean, I think, and just to be on the level with everybody, a big part of that is because of court cases and legal challenges that have made it impossible for us to stop many of these leases, and that is the reasoning for it.
But I understand what you're saying on the legal challenge, but I mean, some climate activists say that there are other ways, either through reopening the environmental review process for proposed lease sales, delaying them, canceling them outright. Like, there are other levers that can be pulled, even in the face of those court challenges.
Well, I would say a court challenge is a significant barrier to implementing our intended policy. And that is, of course, not consistent with our policy, keeping many of these open, but we have an obligation to, of course, abide by the law. I would note that there are also a range of steps that we have taken to address the climate crisis that go far beyond legislation and certainly beyond the challenges we have because of those posed by the court challenges, including tackling super pollutants, phasing down hydrofluorocarbons, rallying the world on to focus on methane in Glasgow. This summer, we stood with auto workers and America's big car manufacturers to roll out plans to boost electric vehicles. We put America on track for 1 of every 2 cars sold to be zero emissions within the decade. You heard a lot of CEOs yesterday speak to how important addressing the climate crisis is even to their industries. That's something the president is committed to. So I don't think our approach could be any more starkly different from the approach of the former president.